Welcome to the Graceful Confidence Podcast. I'm your host, Lauren Debbick, the founder of Life Coaching with Lauren, a female empowerment coach, an entrepreneur, empath, and a lover of the eco-friendly lifestyle. My mission is to help women take control of their lives by teaching them how to increase their confidence in an authentic and genuine way so they can achieve both personal and professional goals. I will share ways to increase your confidence, tips on how to integrate grace into your life, as well as stories and advice from other experts on how, as women, we can better empower ourselves and those around us. I will show you exactly how to use the power of confidence and grace to create an empowering and invigorating life that you are excited about waking up to every single day. Now, let's dive in. Thank you for tuning in to the Graceful Confidence Podcast. I am so excited about this episode because this week is International Happiness at Work Week, which is a time to pause and reflect on how we show up in our workplace, and not just as professionals, but as whole people. Today, I am so excited to be joined by our guest, Kate Bishop, who is a career confidence coach who specializes in helping individuals and teams prioritize well-being, navigating challenging work environments, and rediscovering joy in their careers. Kate is an ICF certified career and confidence coach. She's the founder of Kate Bishop Coaching, works one-on-one with clients, runs group masterclasses, and is the host of the radio show Confidence Collective. Kate specializes in working with clients to embrace their inner critic with an emphasis on discovering and using their inner mentor rather than battling their imposter syndrome. She helps brilliant but frustrated professionals and business owners rediscover their spark, create true work-life balance, and their own working week. So whether you're a leader looking to better support your team or someone simply hoping to feel more fulfilled in your career, this conversation is for you. Kate, thank you so much for being on this episode of the Graceful Confidence Podcast. How are you?
Oh, thank you so much, Lauren. It's an absolute pleasure to be here. And I'm good. I'm in the UK, so it is a little bit dark and very, very cold outside. So I'm very delighted to be spending an evening chatting with you because it makes it so much nicer.
Well, here in Central Florida, hopefully I can give you some of the heat and the humidity that we have here. So I'll send it your way.
Bring it here, please.
Awesome. So I am so excited about today's conversation, but if you could, can you tell the listeners how you got into this line of work and what it is exactly that you do?
Yes, I will try and keep this story short as possible. I am a career confidence coach, expert and speaker. So I work with clients one-to-one, but I also go into organizations and run masterclasses, sessions, workshops, that side of things. And I got into this because I hated what I did. I had hit burnout. I was very overwhelmed. I was not happy at work at all, but I had loved it. I'd loved it for 8 years. And then suddenly I hit burnout. I fell off a bit of a cliff. I'd lost all of my confidence in myself and I had no idea what I wanted to do. A long story short, I discovered coaching. It discovered me. We met in the middle and it was a wonderful, happy meeting and marriage, as it were. So I retrained to be a coach, and my mission is to make your Mondays feel as good as your Fridays. I don't want anyone to have that Sunday night dread or the Tuesday night dread or the Wednesday night dread, to wake up every day and drag yourself to work. That's what I was doing. And I did that for about 3 years and I didn't say anything to anyone. I was in a pit of despair. And I made a bit of a vow, a bit of a resolution that no one should feel like that. No one should have to go through that just to earn money. We're not going to be happy at work 100% of the time, but we do have to thrive at work. We do have to enjoy part of it. So that's what I do now. I work with people on career change, on their confidence to go and do what they really want to do, to speak up, to ask for what they want. And I'd also do public speaking confidence as well, but that's a little bit different.
That's so awesome and so needed. Gosh, there's so many things I could ask, but I know the focus of today's conversation is about International Happiness at Work Week. So we're talking about being happy at work, and I want to get your feedback. I think I would go out on a limb to say maybe all of us have been in positions where we were not happy at work, but from your perspective and in coaching, why is it important to be happy at work?
Oh my goodness, we could be here all night long right now. Yeah, so this is a week, every week. It tends to be around October. This year it's the 6th to the 10th of October. If people are really wanting the dates, I'm like, yes, this is the week. But I think it's important on so many levels. It raises awareness of the need to be happy at work. And when we talk about happiness, this is not just skipping into work every day going, oh, I love my life. It's rainbows and unicorns and all of that. It's actually going, no, I'm working with a purpose. I have a fantastic team around me. I feel supported and I feel safe. And that's really important, whether you have physical health, mental health, the two combined. We all have that. Sometimes it's really high and we are thinking this is fantastic. Other times when we're really struggling. And if your organization can support you when you're struggling, that makes such a huge difference. For the individual, it will mean that they will be loyal to you. They will really, if your business is struggling and then your team, your people go, well, hang on a minute, you've supported us as individuals. We're going to be there for you. We're going to see you through the tough times. Yeah. That's really important. They will go out. They are your best marketing tool. Yeah. They will go out and absolutely sing your praises of your organization, whether that's going to get you more clients, whether that's to raise your reputation, whether that's to attract top talent to you. Absolutely fantastic. And if they leave, they're going to leave on happy terms. So I think from an organization level, it is key to keep people engaged, to keep that productivity high, to make sure that you're doing the right things. We are humans. Let's do the right thing here. For an individual, it's really important because you'll want to go to work. There may be days when you think, oh, come on, let me just have a whole day off under the covers, a duvet day. But most of the time you will be going, no, I'm really here for the right reasons. This is where I'm meant to be. And this is a stat from the UK, but on average, it costs about between 6 to 9 months salary to replace somebody.
That's what I was going to ask. So from a financial perspective, employee retention is so important.
And the other thing I read about this is that the higher you go in the organization, it's closer to the 9-month mark.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you're losing 3 of your managers, leaders, 4, 5, 10, 15, depending on the size of your organization, and you're going, wow, we're struggling this quarter.
Yeah.
Well, duh.
Yeah, for sure.
And then you think about the knock-on effect of those left behind.
Yep.
You're going to have to work really hard to engage them, to keep their motivation, their morale up. They might be taking on extra workload. That's overwhelm. That's close to burnout. So then there's a knock-on effect of, there's the domino effect of redundancy.
Right.
The same applies here. And the reputational damage, if it is not handled well, everybody says it's a very small world in every industry I go into, and I work across all industries, all types of organizations. Everybody says, oh, it's quite a small world. Yes, people talk. And even more so now that, we've got such international ways of working.
Right. It's almost 2 different ways you can think about this. So the individual employee and where they're at and how they're feeling in the workplace, but then also from the leadership and management perspective and what they could be doing for their employees. So let's talk about the individual employee first. How do you know if you're getting to that point of burnout? What should you be doing if you're getting to that point? And what shifts can you make? And how do you know when it might be time to make a different choice? So there's a lot of questions packed into there.
There's a lot. That's fine. They're very important questions. I'm a coach. I love questions. As individuals, all the signs are quite different. However, and I think this is probably, I'm talking to individuals, but also to those around them. You start to look for the people who are struggling mentally every day. If they have big behavioral shifts, if they're not as engaged, you'll notice when someone is acting or reacting very differently.
Right.
People taking time off, excessive amount of times off. Or, the classic one is somebody will always have a Friday or always have a Monday off. Or given their shift pattern, their days off, they will go and say, oh, I'm not coming in today. I don't feel very well. So they're using up all their sick days, or they're requesting paid leave off. And you think, wow. So there is this, okay, they're disengaging. there is this obviously quiet quitting. That is a difficult one to see until it gets to a crunch point. But if people are asking for extended time, if they're not meeting deadlines, if their quality of their work is slipping, if they were, the smiley, bubbly person in and around the office or on Teams calls, and suddenly they're quiet or they're not having their video on, you will begin to notice that.
Yeah.
And I think as an individual, if you begin to start to resent work, or it's a real struggle to get up and go, and if that's over a prolonged period of time, we all have dips, we all have highs and lows. And I think mine was, I got to about 18 months and I thought, yeah, I've used every excuse in the book. I've blamed everything else. I've blamed the fact that I'm tired because I'm not sleeping well, because there's too much noise, because my upstairs neighbors keep me awake, because my relationship's not working, but blah, 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 blah. Went through all of them, went, actually, no, this is work. This is why I am struggling to get out of bed, let alone go and do a good job. There is a fantastic charity in the UK, and it's called Mind. It's a mental health charity. And they do a lot of promotion and work for workplace well-being. And they have a wellness in action plan. They've pioneered that. In my humble opinion, every single person in every single organization should do this, whether you work for yourself or whether you are in a huge organization. And essentially, it's a list of questions. Love questions. But it really is, what is you on a good day? What's your preferred working environment? What are the signs we should look out for if you are experiencing poor mental health? Mm-hmm. If you're heading into that downward spiral, what do we need to do? How do we need to approach this? And that is invaluable, especially if you do have a pre-existing mental health condition that you're a bit nervous about telling your employer about. You can go through that and say, well, actually, I really suffer from deadline overwhelm. Mm-hmm. So I need to structure my working week, my working month, my quarter to those deadlines. And I need to know that in advance.
Yeah.
So there's things like that you can do. And I used to work in a wellbeing role in an organization in London, and they'd recently moved offices. So whole new building, whole new layout, very lovely, very shiny, very new, gorgeous. And there was one person he is still fantastic at his job, but they noticed that his actual performance was really dipping and that he was not as comfortable, not as relaxed. And he had a fantastic manager who caught it early and said, right, come on, let's go for a walk out of the office, away from everybody else, relax, really important, to away from that environment. What's going on? What's happening? And he said, where I sit now, I'm right where people walk past me to go and get a coffee, and it's really distracting. And he was a lovely guy. He is a lovely guy. And so they'd sit and chat and go, oh, hey, how you doing? Oh, how's your weekend? And he is on a tight deadline. They did sprints. He was a developer, so he was on sprint runs. And he noticed that his work was slipping. Yeah. So he got anxious.
Yeah.
But people would keep on coming up to him. So the anxiety rose up. And his manager said, we'll move you. Where do you want to sit in the office? Tell us where you want to be and we will put you there.
Yeah.
And it was overnight, the change, because he was sat next to a wall. He could see people coming towards him. So he was like, oh, I can take my headphones off and engage with you. Or actually, no, headphones on, don't engage with me.
Someone would need to have a lot of self-awareness to know like their own personal work preferences, because a lot of that sounds like it's environmental and they could be easily shifted around. But then also, and you mentioned it, good job on the manager for noticing that employee, something was off and intervening right away. So from the employer perspective and from the leadership perspective, what are some tips or techniques that you could give people to pay attention to these things and prioritize these things? And I don't know what it's like in the UK, but I know working in America, it is so hustle and bustle and time is such a limited resource. And like, I've worked in roles before and it always comes down to time. Like, yes, we'd love to put together a mental health room. We'd love to put together a relaxation room, but we don't have time and we don't have the resources.
I know, and they are finite. I think the way we work has drastically changed because there's so much hybrid working or work from home. So I've talked quite a lot about in office, but what I'm going to say now probably applies to however you work, wherever you work. First of all, understand what your employees need. Not what they want, but what they need. And that's really important because everybody wants to have half days on Fridays. Everybody wants to have the beers and the cake Fridays and to kick back. And that's really nice. But actually, if they are really worried about their financial health and they don't understand about their pension, 401ks, you guys have the mortgage, they're worried about debt, you can give them all the beer under the sun. That's not going to help. So this is really simple, an anonymous audit. Simple questions. It's what I do with organizations quite a lot. What do they actually need? Great. The need is people are feeling lonely. People are feeling isolated because they're all work from home. Or people are really struggling because they can't switch off properly. Or because they're worried about money. Right. Let's choose one. Let's just go for one problem, the big one. Or let's look at an easy win to get people engaged and to get people involved.
Yeah.
And I love doing years of well-being with organizations. We will go in, we will look at the needs. We'll go, right, we have got 4 main topics. Each quarter, we are going to really focus on one topic, on one area. Or there may be 6. There may be a lot more, but we build up slowly, baby steps, baby steps. And that's where you can bring in experts. Blow my own trumpet hit like me to come and run a talk or a workshop or a seminar. Or you can actually go, right, we are going to be, for this month, we're going to bring in some counselors because actually for one day, that's perfect. That's enough. Or we're going to look at our health insurance. What does that include? Can we make some tweaks there? Can we include something else? We're going to give all of our managers a training. Just on the mental health side, we're going to train them how to approach somebody who we think is worried, who we think is struggling, that we're worried about.
Yeah.
And it's those small tweaks. And I've known organizations have gone, well, we have got a lot of needs, but we don't have the time or we don't have the budget or the resources. What do we do, Kate? Choose one, because then you begin to make the difference. And what your team will do, they'll go, I really appreciate what you did there. By the way, have you thought about this? It'd be really good if we could have this. And this is no cost, or this is low cost, or we could do a lunch and learn. That's in the working day. So I think that's one part of it. The other part is mapping your employee journey from start to finish.
Like?
So from their day one, if you have someone who walks into your organization, logs on, what is their journey from the day they start to the day they leave the business? And where are the gaps? Where are the pitfalls? Where are the highs and where are the lows? If they have a wonderful onboarding experience, chances are they are super motivated and that motivation will, carry them through. If they have a really poor onboarding experience, or if they have a lot of questions in the first 3-6 months that are not answered, they're not going to feel supported or cared for.
I read a book called The Power of Moments by Chip and Dan Heath, and a big chapter in that was all about employee onboarding and how people should treat it like a birthday or a celebration and how it's such a missed opportunity because this is the intro. So exactly what you were saying. And I remember that so vividly. So yes, there's so much power in that and using those opportunities to bring people on right away and get started on the right foot with them.
I love that, treating it like a birthday. And I think, we do have to think about the comfort of employees. Some people do not like a big song and dance.
Right.
They don't feel comfortable. There's understanding like, hey, by the way, we're going to introduce you at the team meeting in front of 500 people. You will see immediately whether they're up for that or not.
Right.
But an organization I did a lot of well-being for, they had a great way of doing it. Every Friday, they would have what they called Cake Friday. And it was about 4:00 in the afternoon. Everybody would gather. They had different offices all over the world. Each office would have their Cake Friday. And if somebody new had started in that office that week, they got to choose what was served on Cake Friday. We had KFC. They had those little French macaroons. That was a good day. That was a good Cake Friday. Oh my goodness. But it was so lovely because everybody would gather. It was very relaxed. It was very chilled. It's like, oh, who's chosen Cake Friday? Oh, it's this new person. Oh, I must go and talk to this new person. And it was such a nice, relaxed, introductory way where they were the center of the attention without being right in the spotlight.
Right.
Worked beautifully, absolutely beautifully. And because it was so relaxed, because it was just sort of mingling and chatting, there was no pressure.
Right.
They got to know people. But in that first week, they were seen, they were heard, and they started to make connections and friends. Beautifully done.
That
Such a good
sounds
example.
much better than some of my experiences where I show up for the first day and I don't even have my email set up or my login and can't even get into the computer.
There's no laptop for you. You're going to sit in the corner. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Oh,
no cake
cringe.
for you.
You asked about, when companies are really tight on time.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's one thing that annoys me with when I'm working with my coaching clients, and if they will know who they are. And I say, okay, I just can't find the time. Like, you won't ever find the time. You have to create the time.
Okay.
And this is a priority, especially when you start to look at the bottom line and the churn of your employees. Or if you look at, I love asking this question to organizations, how much did your sick days cost you last year? You look at the panic in the HR or the finance officer's face, and they go, yeah, it cost us a lot. Great.
Yeah.
Look at that cost, and the churn, the turnover, look at that cost. Then you'll begin to realize you can create the time.
Yes. It is so important.
So it really is important.
I can imagine in the conversations you have, who are probably most likely C-level, suite leaders, HR, finance folks, trying to make the connection between Cake Friday and the bottom line and getting them to understand how they connect is an interesting conversation.
Yeah, I love that conversation. Yeah, it's a lot of heads of people, HR, and generally we're in the people space. They'll get it. They'll know that they need this. It's when you get to the sign off. It's when you get to that nitty gritty. Let me look at your numbers, or tell me your numbers, and then we'll talk about it. But I think from an individual's perspective, and this is where a lot of clients really struggle, of asking for what they need. And, the Happiness at Work Week, it really says, look, we've got to prioritize happiness and health. And that's where you have to learn how to push back and how to say no and go, actually, I need this and you're expecting that from me. Well, that's not going to happen unless this happens.
Right.
And there are certain things you can do, bookending your day, making sure that you've got a really solid foundation in place that works for you in the morning. That could be exercise, it could be journaling, it could be meditation, it could be going for a walk with the dog, it could be sitting with a cup of coffee for 5 minutes outside, doing some breath work, whatever it is that works for you, but committing to that one thing each day, day in, day out, that starts this process of, no, I prioritize myself. Right. And then we go from there on how to say no and how to push back and how to ask for what you want. And, having something to switch off from, I think, is really important as well. So you leave work, and especially when you work, I work from home, and oh my goodness, I could work throughout the night when I've got my teeth into something, or I could quite happily sit and watch Netflix for 3 days straight when I'm feeling like I can't be bothered. So it is really important to make that distinction, to switch off and from work, and then to be able to switch back into work as well.
Yeah. You bring up really good points about the individual responsibility of the employee to, number one, ask for what they need. So have the courage, confidence, whatever the word is, to communicate what it is that they need with their employers. And then also to have that responsibility for themselves to make that transition to do what it is that they need to do. I know in my experience, sometimes employees just expect the employers to know what they need or want without communicating it, or without taking any of that responsibility among themselves. So how much is this like on the employee and like mindset versus asking for help, and how do you make some of those shifts and break down some of those barriers?
I'm not going to, it's going to sound like a hedge. I think it's individual to everyone. And I think the earlier you are in your career, the more you're feeling your way and testing the waters, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that when I was early on in my career, I was like, yeah, I'll say yes to everything because I want to get ahead, because I don't want to lose my job, because
Guilty.
I need to impress this person.
Guilty. Yes.
Yeah. Right? Just listeners, if you're going, oh yeah, that's me, then nod along in a safe way. What I love seeing now, and I have quite a few younger clients who are going, oh no, I know where my breaking point is. They are very self-aware. I think they're the most self-aware generation we've got right now, which is great. And for a lot of them, they're going, oh no, I'm going to ask this, or I'm not even applying for that, Kate, until they're going to give me this, 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 and this. And I'm sat there going, oh, okay, why didn't I get that? So I do think it's down to the individual to a certain extent, but I think if you have got quite a young team or quite a new team, then expect them to not know exactly what they need and where their points are. And by points, I mean they're markers in the sand of this is too much or this is getting close to too much. And this is where I love talking about the human performance curve, which I think is like from 1970 something, but it still applies today. And this says that if you're working at peak performance, at the top of your pressure curve, your performance curve, then you are loving life. And I completely disagree with that. Because if you are absolutely at the peak all of the time, when something else hits, when suddenly they go, oh, we need you to do this extra work, or, oh my goodness, somebody's off sick, can you take on all their work? Or we just had to let so-and-so go, you're now doing their role. You are going to slip down your curve into burnout, into overwhelm, into exhaustion very quickly.
Yeah.
So I think most of us need to be working just before that peak performance so we can safely step up and step back again. Because if you're constantly at 100%, you're going to burn pretty quickly. There may be spikes. There may be, right, this is the month where we need to knock it out the park, or this is a really important project or an amazing client we need to get. Can you give me 100% for a week? The rest of the time, yeah, just be a bit careful. And if you notice people are the ones that say yes to everything, the ones that are constantly online, or they're in the office until, 10:30, midnight, or they're there at 5 a.m, then it's time to have a quiet word, be like, right, what's going on here? And I love this. I love asking twice. So this may be a very British thing, but when someone says, are you okay? Oh yeah, fine. Yeah, fine. We don't talk about feelings. Oh, no, feelings? Oh, horrible. And you guys in America are just fantastic about it. You're just like, yes, I've had the worst day in the world. It's so dramatic. We just bottle everything up. It's like, I'm being very generalist here. But asking twice. This was actually a campaign for men's mental health. You ask twice. And you don't ask closed questions. You ask opened questions. How are you? Yeah, fine, mate. Fine, whatever. Yeah, all good. How are you? And whoa, does that open up a conversation? You can't get out of that one.
No, I felt
you could
that.
be nice with it. Yeah, right? You could no, how are you? How are you? And by asking that, no, how are you really? You have to answer that with an open response. Actually, I'm really struggling. Actually, it's been a really tough month. Yeah, I think I might need a bit of help, or I just don't know what to do. Boom. You've got your in. You can start supporting them. You can start guiding them. And if you don't know what to do, you can find someone who can help them. Yeah. You can then go to that manager, to that mental health first aider, to the HR and say, look, we need to just make sure that we're carrying this person now, or that they know that they can get support here.
Yeah.
Or whatever it might be. So I think communication, it's so easy to say, it's so hard to do, is pretty key. And I have a lot of clients who really struggle with courageous communication. But I think being vulnerable is possibly being the bravest part of yourself ever.
Yeah.
if you are say, yeah, this is tough.
Yeah.
And if you say it out loud to somebody, that is half the battle won.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
It all hits so close to home, I'm sure, for so many people. So for International Happiness at Work Week, if someone was like, okay, I'm gonna give it a try. I'm gonna try to be happy at work. You mentioned the morning routine, the going for a walk, journaling, meditating, whatever it is. Are there any other techniques or tactics or tricks you would recommend someone try to change their mindset at work? And also, follow-up question, at what point are you like, okay, I need to make a change. Like, this is not healthy for me. Because I would imagine it only goes to some point of trying to be happy and asking for what you need, but it's not always going to be what it is that you need.
So let's start with that, because I think that's a really, really good question of you've tried everything, you've raised your concerns, you're doing everything, your side as the individual, perhaps your organization are doing all that they can and you're just still really struggling. You feel like you're just about surviving. You're talking yourself into going into work. You're feeling tired, lethargic, overwhelmed. You're not enjoying it at all. This is where I say make a love it list and make a loathe it list. Everything you love about your job, your organization, the people you work with, all the good stuff, and everything you hate. That's where I start with clients who are in this predicament. I'm like, go make your love it list, go make your loathe it list. And I'm making a big, sort of coaching woohoo moment here. But then we look at that and go, right, what can we do more of in the love it side? Will that keep you there, essentially? And 60-70% of the time, most clients go, that's not enough.
Yeah.
Actually, no, there's not enough of the love it, or it won't be enough longer term. And we do talk about the longer term because it's great to fix it for 6 months, 12 months. But actually, if we're thinking 3-5 years down the line, is that going to sustain you? And having it in black and white in front of you, or blue and white, or whatever color you want to go crazy with. I love stationery, so I'm like, oh, pink. Then absolutely. But having it written in front of you and you have 3 things on your love it list, and one of those, the free coffee, and then your loathe it list is on 5 pages. Well, okay, you've got it there. But I'm making a bit of a joke of it. But essentially, that's where we start. What's working for you? What isn't? How can we make it work? Actually, no, we can't, because I've tried everything and the organization just isn't the place for me. So then we start the career change coaching journey. Yeah. But you asked about sort of the tweaks and the things you can do day in, day out. And I hate the word routine, so I call it a foundation. Most people call it a routine. They're like, okay, I have my exercise routine in the morning, or, I have this that gets me going. The routine to me is like, oh, I just feel like I'm in a straitjacket. No, thank you. A foundation to start my day is perfect. And it does have to be positive habits. I mean, there's wonderful books out there, Tiny Habits, Atomic Habits, fantastic books, so many resources. And it may be a bit of trial and error. It may be that actually your perfect routine is sitting in bed with a nice cup of tea for 20 minutes whilst you work through the New York Times crossword. Great. If that sets you up for success. I used to bike everywhere in London, I used to cycle all over, and that got me into the headspace of work, and it got me out of the headspace of work. And that's one of the problems with work from home. We don't have that.
Yeah.
It's very difficult to switch on and switch off now. So do a pretend commute. So many of my clients do this. They take the dog for a walk. I've had clients who go, I don't really just want to walk around my area. I'm going to drive. And they'll go for a 15-minute drive and come back. And the same at the end of the day, to switch off and switch into work. Movement is fantastic. I've made a joke about jogging, but getting movement. We tend to get stuck at our desks in front of our screens or at our workstations, whatever we might be doing work-wise. So if you have quite a sedentary job, then getting movement in your day is really important, especially if you're not in an office, because it's so easy to go, oh, I'm just going to go to the coffee machine. Oh, I'm just going to go down and grab a bagel, or I'm going to go see that person, have a chat. At home, you're like, well, I'm going to switch the kettle on and put the washing out. Oh, great. That's 3 steps today. But if you go, actually, no, mid-morning, I am going to set an alarm to make sure I get up and walk around or do something that involves movement. Lunch. How many times I hear clients saying, oh, okay, I have lunch at my desk. Or they go into the sin bin of coaching. I'm so sorry. Well, there you go. Starting from tomorrow, you have a brand new, lovely, positive habit. If you can get up and walk away from your screen or your workstation, it gives your eyes a rest. It gives your brain a rest. It moves your body. It switches you off for a moment. And invariably, you're going to come back with a fresh face, fresh eyes, fresh ideas. And go and have a chat with someone. Don't sit there and scroll on Instagram. I know, I've done it. I do it. I'm preaching to myself. Go and read a book. Go for a walk around the park. Anything that is not what you have been doing is helpful, because your brain does need it big time.
Yeah. Can we talk a little bit about the power of rest and breaks and how important those are and what role that can play in the overall happiness in your workplace or at work?
Absolutely. And we rest in different ways. Most of us like to rest by ourselves or with our nearest and dearest. That's where we rest and recharge. We feel most comfortable. A few of us recharge being surrounded by others. That's where we get our energy from. So work out what you prefer. I would say most people would be like, on my own, good book, my partner, the dog, whatever it might be. But I don't want to be in a massive crowd of people, even though I love them all and they're wonderful, wonderful friends and family. Actually, we rest and recharge being a bit selfish, quite frankly. And absolutely, we deserve it.
Yeah.
I think when we talk about rest or downtime, it's really interesting. I was working with a client at the moment whose working life has drastically changed. So he is suddenly a lot more flexible. He said, I'm getting to spend time with my kids. I don't need the downtime of 2 hours in front of the television to calm down from my working day. I want the downtime with them. And actually, it was a bit of a moment because he said, I always thought I needed to be quiet and sedentary and in my own bubble to relax and to recharge. But now I want to go and take my twin boys and play football. I want to, talk with my daughter. She's the eldest of the 3. I want to go and talk to her about, ponies and dinosaurs and whatever she's studying at school right now. That is suddenly giving me energy. So what they have done, and I love this idea. And generally in coaching, I don't give ideas, but this, I was like, just try this. So they have a family fun jar. Everybody is putting in ideas to that jar. What you would do in an evening, what you want to do at a weekend, sky's the limit. And when they go, do you know what? We've got a spare evening. We're all together. We go into the family fun jar and we pick out an activity. And if we can do that, then we're doing it. If we can't do that one, we'll choose another one. He said it is amazing because everybody's invested in it. They get so excited because we're doing things together. So it's really finding out what gives you energy, what's the best type of rest for you. Chances are it's probably not sitting and consuming tons of Netflix. As much as I love the K historical romance dramas, that's my weakness right now. It's probably something that's really going to nourish you so that when you wake up the next day, you go, yeah, I feel fresh, I feel awake, I feel alive. And that takes a bit of trial and error of figuring it out. And chances are you're going to have to be selfish and say no to other things to prioritize yourself.
Yeah. And that is where things can get kind of hard, I think.
That's the ick.
So that's the ick. is saying no to other things and prioritizing yourself. So just real quick, what are some things that you've seen work for other people on how to be successful at that?
Yes. So we're going to work out if this is a hell yeah or a hell no. So when someone asks you to do something, or if they want your help with something, you go, right, hang on a minute. Is this a hell yeah or is this a hell no? If it is an easy, quick, low energy, yes, this is great. This is going to be good for me and good for them. Or it's not going to take too much of your time, not too much of your effort. It's not going to drain you. And if it means a lot to the person asking, that's a hell yeah. That's a, hey, yes, I can take your dog for a walk because it helps you out. It gets me giving some fresh air. I love dogs. Wish I could have one. Wish I could be one some days. And the same with work. Oh, could you just finalize this report? Could you just proofread this? Actually, yeah, it's going to take me 10 minutes. And I can sit with my headphones on, with my cup of whatever. And it means a lot to that person because, you know, they're great at the creativity, but their structure of sentencing, they struggle with that. And actually, this is a really good thing. It's going to mean a lot to them. Yes, I'm going to do this for you. That's a hell yeah. A hell no is when it's draining of your effort, of your time, of your resources. When you're thinking, oof, I have to pause my entire day to fit this in.
Mm-hmm.
This is not my happy place. And the big one with the hell no, and I see this a lot with clients who say yes a lot, the people pleasers. And if you are one of them, folks, then give me a wave, say hi. Me too. Hands in the air.
Recovering people pleasers.
Yes. How much is it going to mean to the person asking you? Because often we are given stuff because some people just don't want to do it. It's not for our benefit. It's to get it off their plate.
Mm-hmm.
There'll be times we'll be given things that challenge us to elevate us, to go, actually, you are in a stage in your career now where doing this project, this task will really lift you.
Yep.
Great. There'll be other times you think, just because you don't want to do it, why should I have to do it? And I know for a lot of people that a hell no is very, very difficult to say. Because they don't want to look like the difficult person. They don't want to get on the wrong side, want to say yes to get ahead, but really start to think about actually if this is draining, if this is time consuming, if this is going to mean anything to the person who's asked me. And we can say no in different ways. So I've got your back there. So don't worry.
Yeah.
Because when it's a hell no, there are three ways you can say no. You can start off by saying no, by saying yes, which I know sounds very confusing, but bear with me. So this is when you really can't say no. This is when like the big boss has asked you or the manager said you, or you're like, oh, I just can't say no. But this is where you're going to set really clear expectations that this is a one-off, that I'm on board to help you with this, Lauren, because I know for you it's urgent and it's really important. I do hope, though, that we can view this as a special case. This is probably going to be a one-off for me, but I'll get it done for you because you mean a lot to me and I know this is important to you, but this will be the last time. Boom. You've said yes. You've said no to every other request.
Yes.
Then if you're like, oh, no, Kate, that's terrifying. Can't say that. We're going to pass back the... Okay. This is where you let them decide what you're going to work on and what gets dropped, what gets totally ditched. Do you know what, Lauren, I'm focusing on this other project, which you asked me to do last week on a Friday at 5:30 p.m. just to rub some salt into the wound. And you know, the deadline that we agreed on for that, by adding this new project, that's really going to impact the one that you've asked me to work on. It's going to totally screw up that timeline. How do we reprioritize? What do you recommend I hand off? What do you recommend I get rid of? If I'm going to hand it off, who should I give it to? What would you prefer I drop completely? And then you see them squirm for a bit and you go, and you hold your silence here. Silence is golden. And invariably they'll take it back and go, yep, absolutely, carry on with the original project. Or, no, do the new one, but I'll take the old project. But get them to make that decision and make it very clear you cannot do both. And the third way is deferring. This is where you can push back, you create a bit of space, and again, set expectations. And this is where you say, thank you. Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate you thinking of me for this. this is just a wonderful opportunity. Just give me a minute because I just need to assess my current workload. I've got quite a few tight deadlines coming up. I just need to see where this might fit in, not where this will fit in, not where this can fit in, where this might fit in. Language is key here. Let me just take some time to see how I potentially may be able to make this work, can really make them squirm here. And then I'm going to come back to you and I'll suggest a more feasible date. Great. So you're taking the ownership, you're taking the power, but you're giving yourself some time to really think about what would work from you. So you're not saying completely, you're just deferring it and pushing it back. And those are ways in which you can begin to say no without the, hell no, I'm not doing that. You do it.
I love it.
So do I. And I love it when I have clients who go up to me and go, oh my goodness, Kate, I said no by passing the power and it worked.
Works.
And they have a power rush. It's wonderful. It's absolutely wonderful to see. And once you do it once, you do it again and again.
Yep.
And you get comfortable doing it. And crucially, you're retraining others around you. So they will begin to go, actually, maybe I won't ask Lauren because I know she's got a lot on. She's got some tight deadlines.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'll go and ask someone else. And then you go and tell the other person about this.
Kate, this has all been just such great information that I think with the way technology is impacting workloads and all of it and the crossover with remote work, there's just so much happening. So I don't think this conversation could have come at a better time. So if someone wanted to connect with you or find out more about your work or reach out to you directly, where would they go?
Oh my goodness. Yes. I have a website, which please feel free to come along to it. It is kate-bishopcoaching.co.uk. And on there's some free downloads, help yourself. You can book a chat with me. I love having chats with people. If you're not finding a time that works for you, then you can email me, coach@kate-bishop.co.uk. You can book a foundation session if you're like, oh my goodness, I need more of this coaching, then absolutely. But obviously, we've got a nice big chunky time difference. So if you're not finding a time that works for you, then please do drop me an email. And I'm on LinkedIn as well, which is Kate Bishop. And it's the girl in the pink smiling insanely, basically. So there you go. Just look for the random smile. And
because you're so happy at work. You're so happy.
I'm so happy at work. That's how it is. Very true. Oh, Lauren, it's been fantastic. Thank you so much. And amazing questions as well for such an important topic. So it's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you, Kate.
Thank you so much for tuning in to the Graceful Confidence Podcast. If you know someone who could benefit from this podcast, please go ahead and share it with them. Encourage them to like and follow this podcast so they know when new episodes are launching. Thank you again, and we'll talk soon.